Hi, this is Brian from The Sleeping Elephant. I'm going to review The Life of an Entrepreneur in 90 pages. There's an amazing story behind every story. Patrick is one of my favorite entrepreneurial YouTubers. He has his own insurance company, is an immigrant from Iran originally, and he came to America to start his life. And he's come a long way in terms of success. He reads book and he has a book club, as well as done interviews with Mark Cuban, Grant Cardone, and Robert Greene. It's a very small read. It's about 90 pages as it says in the title. I also met him on his entrepreneurial tour of the United States. He's a direct advisor for entrepreneurs. He's a real deal. He created a very optimistic culture that I saw in his insurance company. Here's what's included in the book. It's number 1, the truth. Number 2, vision. Number 3, commitment. Number 4, resiliency. Number 5, validation. Number 6, drift or drive. For vision, it's all about truth and not having excuses. Not reveling in victimhood and not using excuses such as if only or because. The truth hurts and everybody has to face the men in the mirror or the woman in the mirror. It's the truth. Be real. Number 2, vision. Think big. Find out what you want or what are you resisting. And he uses a good example of Elon Musk, how he's pushing himself to the edge. He thinks really big and has done all these projects with Tesla and a Sun company. He has a spaceship rocket company that is shooting satellites out of the earth. And this was all accomplished by having a big vision and being comfortable with failing. Rocket after rocket just crashes, but he keeps on pushing. Number 3, commitment. Stay committed and don't get caught up in instant gratification. This is very common with social media now. All these short little bursts of rewards like likes and favorites. Ridiculous compliments that you need to get that little ego boost. And this could be hard for long-term goals, but you have to stay the path for that long path. Use effort. And he uses a good example of Lisa Loeb, how no one knew who she was till she had her hit single. And I only think she had one hit single. The single was called Stay, and it was a big song out in the early 90s. People thought that she had just had this overnight success, but what she really had been doing was singing for 14 years or so. And this is something that Patrick always explains, is that people don't really see the hard work. They see the outer shell, the superficial entrepreneur. Be dedicated, work 80 hours a week is what he recommends. Don't watch too much Bachelorette or keep on watching Game of Thrones and living in a fantasy. Even though Game of Thrones is a good show and I've read the book, it's got great dialogue. And as far as for men, you don't want to get caught up into excessive porn or video games, especially young guys. And he uses a good example of the Nike Corporation, where Phil Knight kept on pushing through, looking for sales. That's where you got the tagline, just do it. Number 4, resiliency. Keep fighting. Even if you suffer failure, this will just make you stronger. Become a wild knight and not a white knight. Try, be positive, and play to your strengths. You're going to have weaknesses, that you're going to have talents in hopefully you have talents in certain areas, that you have to play to your strengths. Even if there are setbacks that derail you, embrace the challenges and innovate and pivot. You'll get stronger. 5, validation. You'll have your first big success or a big sale, and this will confirm all your hard work. It may take time. However, this is something to be celebrated, to be recognized by the community. Yes, it is true, I am a good salesman, or I am a valid entrepreneurial business. I've made it. Since about 80% of the entrepreneur ventures fail. Just keep going. This key point isn't as important as the other ones. Validation, I don't think is important. You have to be self-assured and confident that it doesn't matter if you have other people's approval, whether it be the governments, whether it be friends, or people around you. You have to go and do it yourself. Number 6, drift or drive. And with this point, you want to be all in. When you're at the poker table, you have to bet big. You have to not look for a hedge, not look for an excuse. You have to go full throttle, and this type of passion, this type of energy will propel you forward. You're not looking for a cop-out. You're giving it your all. And the only time I think you should drift instead of drive is if you have a Subaru, which I have, in which drifting is perfectly fine and wild, and you're not taking that linear route. However, this type of drive, you want it to have like a wild vision to achieve your goals. Here are a few things I didn't like about the book, is that it did cost $10 for this book. I read it on Kindle Unlimited, so it is free for me. And he did quote Gloria Steinem, and the quote was, "The truth will set you free." However, Gloria Steinem is a person you shouldn't really look up to. If you find out who she is, she's not that great of a person. And in terms of validation, I don't think you really need the validation. This type of entrepreneurial path, or even a path in general, you don't need the validation. I do like that he used relevant people. Here's some other resources and books you can choose to further your entrepreneurial path. You could check out Phil Knight's Nike journey, the book called Shoe Dog. It just came out. I have not read it, but it sounds like an interesting book to read with this. Check out Traction by Gabriel Weinberg and Justin Mares. The Senna movie. Elon Musk book by Ashley Vance. I have a review of that book as well. Steve Jobs, Gary Vaynerchuk, and anything by Ty Lopez. To close things off, I want to recommend that you watch his YouTube channel. It's called Valuetainment, and you do get a ton of value from his talks. He gives entrepreneurial advice, and he's willing to share his wisdom for free. The book does not do him justice, and I do feature him on my featured channel, so I do think this is one of those guys that is under the radar. He only has 50,000 subscribers, which is just a number. Perhaps this is just a start of something new for him. He's the real deal, and don't be put off by his Ferrari and materialism. He's a great guy. I met him in person. Thanks for listening.